You don't have to be the smartest health coach. I'm not. You don't have to be the most tech savvy either. Again, I'm not. But you do need to manage your time in order to make stuff happen if you want to move forward. Hello there, health coaches. If you ever feel like your days are packed, but somehow nothing important is getting done and your business is constantly getting pushed to the back burner, well, today I'm going to break down 5 time management habits that I've seen in the most productive, the most profitable health coaches out there, including myself. And I'm going to share how I use time blocking to stay on track without getting overwhelmed. This is like a roadmap to actually getting stuff done. Let's do it. I talk to hundreds. I probably talk to thousands of health coaches every year, and everyone seems to struggle with making good use of time. And I get this question all the time. How should I structure my day? How should I structure my week? Let me tell you this, if you want to consistently sign clients, you want to be building programs, you want to be growing your business, this really is an essential skill for any entrepreneur. You don't have to be the smartest health coach. I'm not. You don't have to be the most tech savvy either. Again, I'm not. But you do need to manage your time in order to make stuff happen if you want to move forward, right? Makes sense. Hey, I'm sharing this as someone who's built a health coaching business while having babies, while moving up and down the East Coast umpteen different times, while getting divorced. I've done all the things. My schedule's been all over the place in these years. So let's walk through those habits that set the top 1% apart. And then you can pick 1 or 2 to try this week. Yes? All right, let's get into it. The first habit that I want you to think about is planning your week before Monday morning hits. Yeah, I will tell you, as your business grows, your calendar will need to be planned not even just 1 week in advance, but often 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in advance because there's just that much going on. But to start, think about sitting down Sunday night. That's usually when I'm thinking about, okay, what's coming up for the week? Get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of something and sit down with your calendar. Or maybe on Friday, as you're winding down, you can start thinking about what's going to be coming up on Monday. The idea is just give yourself a short period of time every week to look at what's coming next. Like, what are you going to be working on? What's the priority? Sometimes I look ahead and I'm like, oh man, I didn't realize that my kids have off school. Like there's a superintendent's day that snuck up on me or something. Do you guys have those superintendent's days? They just throw them in here and there and suddenly my kids don't have school. So I'll be like, all right, there's no school on Tuesday. That changes my plan. I'm probably going to be driving them around that day and I'm going to have a weird schedule. Successful coaches don't wait until the chaos hits. That's just an example of like getting ahead of what might surprise you the following week. So I like to go into the week knowing what's on deck, what matters, and this really doesn't take that long. I think if you give yourself 15 minutes, that will be plenty. And those 15 minutes are going to save you so much time over the course of the following week because you're going to know exactly what you're going to be doing. Now, the next habit, and this is one, it took me a long time to break this. I want you to stop relying on to-do lists, at least not to-do lists alone. I love a good to-do list, right? There's something so satisfying about scratching something off the to-do list when it's done. I used to rely on pads of paper. They'd be all over my office, and maybe I'd have one down in the kitchen, have one in my car, or I'd have these paper to-do lists. They get long, they get messy. You end up with too many of them. It's like a to-do list within a to-do list, and then that one's got this scratched out and it's duplicated over here, right? It's just a hot mess, and they're all floating around. The key, even if you just have one to-do list, the key is to turn your lists into something else. Turn them into time blocks. That way, your task, whatever it is that you want to get done, it has a date and a time associated with it instead of like a hope and a prayer, which is what it's like when it's just written on a list. So I'm going to give you an example from my own business. I usually email my mailing list every Tuesday, not every single Tuesday, but most Tuesdays. So Anyway, in order for that to happen, I have a 1-hour time block every single Monday that says email for tomorrow. That's it. And in that 1 hour, I know I have to sit down, I have to write and schedule the email so that it goes out the following morning. And that just happens week in, week out. Now that's just 1 hour. Other tasks, they're going to take much longer. So like if I'm putting together a new workshop, and I did that recently, I did that workshop about online courses, and that was brand new. I had never done it before. So I had about 10 hours blocked on my calendar just to create the slides. Not all at once, of course, but maybe I had a 3-hour block here and a 2-hour block there. And that was like over the course of a couple of weeks. If that were on my to-do list, make slides for workshop, then that task would be given, a line. It would be given the same weight as write Tuesday's email. But they're not the same, right? Like some tasks are bigger. Some tasks take longer than others. So I find that visually seeing those tasks as time blocks really helps my brain understand like how much I have going on. So to time block, if you've never done it before, I really hope you'll give it a try after listening to this episode. You got to use a tool that works for you. This is another habit to pick up. We're not going for the most complicated tool out there just because it looks fancy. In fact, I remember talking to my friend Andrea Beeman years ago. Do you know Andrea? Anyway, I don't know if she still does this, but she told me that she had a paper planner. And she said that she would scribble down in her paper planner no more than 3 tasks on each page. Like that's what she was going to do each day, just 3 things, because she knew, like realistically on any given day, she was only going to accomplish 3 things. I love that. I mean, as health coaches, we have all this stuff to do for our business, of course. And then I know my calendar also gets blocked for exercise every day and for my body work appointments. And I need time to cook dinner, right? So I even block off time to shower. And I like having slow mornings because it's good for my adrenals. That's how I like to live. So time blocking or being realistic with your time, I don't want you to think it's about cramming as much as possible into your day. Sometimes it feels like that, but really it's about giving time and space to all of your priorities, which of course you can only really do if you sit down and you take those 15 minutes and you plan out your week. Now, I'm not like Andrea. I gave up paper planners probably a decade ago or longer. I swear by my Google Calendar. In fact, I have 5 or 6 different calendars within that one Google Calendar. Like one's for planning my podcast, one's for planning the emails that I'm sending, one's to plan the various promotions and projects going on in my business. And then the main one, that's where I put my daily tasks. And those are my time blocks, which, oh my goodness, you can start color coding. And I like to do that. My personal time is in yellow. If I have to be on video, I put that in red because, I got to remember to do my hair. And sometimes if I'm working on a big project, that project is going to get its own color too. And then you have these blocks sitting in your calendar. They can all get moved around. It's a little bit like playing Tetris. If you want to see all of this in action, by the way, I recorded a little video of exactly how I use my Google Calendar and do my time blocking. I thought that would be helpful, like especially if you haven't done it before or if you're just kind of curious about what goes on behind the scenes here. So if you want to check out that video, it's just a couple minutes long. Text me. Go to healthcoachpower.com/text. Text the word calendar, just that single word, and it's going to trigger the system to automatically send you my Google time blocking video. So again, you just go to healthcoachpower.com/text, and from there, text me the word calendar. And you know what? That's really all that I use. And it's free. Google Calendar. You can use other tools. I have all these fancy AI tools that have come out recently. One is called Motion. If you want to check that out. There was another one that I tried and now it escapes me. I can't think of the name right now, but basically all of these different AI tools that would put those blocks on my calendar for me, I hated them. Like I just hated having a little robot filling up my calendar with tasks. Every time I thought I cleared my afternoon, boom, more tasks would fill up that space right in front of my eyes. And I was like, getting anxiety over it. So for now, at least, I'm keeping it a fairly manual process. The goal here, it's not to geek out over software. Just use whatever tool is easiest for you. And you know what? Maybe you're like Andrea. Maybe it's going to be a paper planner for now. Now, on the same topic of time blocking, I know you're going to think after this episode that I'm just like the time blocking nerd of all nerds. And I think I am, but with good reason, right? Everyone's always like, Michelle, how do you do it all? This is how. The habit that you want to cultivate around time blocking is not strictly following your time blocked calendar to the T every single day. Now, my project manager would be really, really, really happy if I did, but I'm not a robot. You're not a robot. Things happen. Life happens. So just know some days, of course, you need to go slower. That thing is just not going to happen. And here's what I found to be really interesting. Like time blocking, it doesn't have to be about forcing yourself to do these 20 things that you've crammed into your day. Like I said, there's times when it just doesn't happen. There are weeks that I barely follow the calendar that I planned at all. But there's something so important about just going through that exercise of planning. Like it makes all the difference because over time you start to learn, like in general, what can I reasonably accomplish? How long does that type of task take? What's taking me way too long? Where am I spending way too much time and it's not helping my business grow or it's not aligned with my values and what I really want to be doing in the world? Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes my time blocks just have to get moved, down into the next week. But sometimes I just get deleted because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I have made the decision and I am the CEO around here and you are the CEO of your business most likely. I don't want to do this project after all. Boom, it's gone. Sometimes I think I can do this an easier way. And so what was going to take me all afternoon is gone. And that's when I like to go get a pedicure. That's when I don't like those AI tools filling it up with the next 3 tasks. The goal is, I guess, is to have a plan that you can adjust. It is flexible. And like I was getting at a minute ago, the most important part is just the act of planning in the first place, just going through that habit every week. I find that's what really matters because that's what's going to help you the most, even if you don't follow the plan. Isn't that amazing? You would think, well, what's the point of making a plan if you're not going to follow it? But it just does something to your brain. You just get smarter about how to actually make the best use of your time. It's kind of like, I don't know, like if you organized your kitchen and you bought groceries, you put them all away, you're going to be better able to cook, even if you don't end up following a recipe. And then the last habit that I want to talk about is kind of zooming out and taking a more macro look at what you're doing with your time. Because if you're only thinking 1 week at a time, you're going to stay busy. You're going to fill up your calendar. It's pretty easy to do that. And you may even stay organized, but you might not find that your business is moving forward. So the most productive coaches I know, and by productive, I don't mean busy. I mean actually growing, actually increasing their bottom line, actually building their mailing list, right? This is something I had to learn for sure. You need to have a larger plan. Like I said, kind of zoom out. So you're not just looking at 1 week anymore. What's the larger plan? Like what's the larger goal? Because that's going to define how you spend your time each week. It's like to manage your time day by day, you got to know what you're working towards in the long term. What are all those days? What are all those weeks leading up to? And that's a slightly bigger strategy. That's where most health coaches really fall down. We're always just thinking, what am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing next week? Maybe what am I doing 2 weeks from now? But think bigger, like months at a time. And I can help you with this. My free 90-day blueprint is designed to help you get more clients in 90 days. It's that overarching plan to guide your weekly and daily to-dos. Or not to-dos, because we're getting rid of to-dos, right? We're time blocks, your weekly and daily time blocks. And you can grab that 90-day blueprint for free. It's at healthcoachpower.com/blueprint. So there you have it. Those are the 5 habits of what I consider the top 1% of health coaches who aren't just busy, they're productive and profitable. They're getting it done, they're making it happen, and they're doing it without working 24/7. So pick one of these habits to try this week. Maybe stack the following week. If you upgrade how you use your time, you are going to notice a big, big difference. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.